Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar brought to you by Turn. Today we're going to be discussing 5 ways for the hospitality industry to overcome the labor shortage in 2022. So quick agenda. We're going to talk about how we got here. What the heck is going on? Then we're going to talk about 5 easy ways, low-hanging fruit, to start to combat what we perceive as a labor shortage today. We're going to talk about a solution as well by introducing the notion of autonomous sourcing, screening, and hiring. Mention a few of our very special partners that are also in the hospitality industry and show you a quick little preview of the platform. And as I said, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, we encourage you to schedule a follow-up call with our team. So a little bit about me. I've been with Turn since the launch of our platform back in 2017. I've had the blessing to really be on the front line to see how the hourly labor recruiting ecosystem has dramatically shifted over the years, really since the gig economy's nascent days in the early 2000s and 2010s. I spent the last decade building partnerships teams and customer success teams, that help drive our partners and help them achieve scale and efficiency. So what's going on? What's going on in the hospitality industry that's making it so darn difficult to be a recruiter or an HR professional or a people leader or a people operations leader? We kind of got to understand what is going on as it relates to the supply of labor in the US and the demand for that labor. So let's focus on the supply first, the workforce. We're seeing unprecedented demographic trends that are causing a very persistent disruption to the workforce. And what we'll see here in a second is that it's affecting a very specific category of the workforce. But what's going on with these population and demographic trends? Well, for one, the US is getting older, not younger, right? So birth rate is down, population growth is down, and that has a serious impact in your ability to fill roles that may have been previously occupied by younger individuals, or you're having challenges replacing your older workforce as they're churning out and retiring. You're having issues replacing them with a new workforce. Net migration is down. This is another really big factor when you think about a certain type of jobs that this impacts more so than other job categories. So these are very massive demographic trends that are really creating, or I guess tossing a wrench into the processes that HR professionals have leveraged for decades. Those processes aren't working as well as they used to. So now let's take a look at the demand for labor. What's going on with the demand for labor? Well, we're tracking roughly 13 million job openings. That's roughly how many job openings there are in the US. And as I said earlier, there's a specific category of job that's being really impacted by these demographic trends. 56% of these job openings are for hourly and shift-based positions. And hourly and shift-based positions, which are, as you know, are very common in the hospitality industry, are growing at 3x year over year. More specifically to the hospitality industry, the reason why you're here today is because as we see, you also see enormous upside. There is a ton of upside in the hospitality industry. The hospitality industry is predicted to grow by another 33.6% throughout 2022 as we are recovering from the COVID pandemic. You can see that a lot of that upside is going to be predicated on your ability to effectively and efficiently staff your business. You know, we know that 1 million restaurant and hospitality workers resigned in the last 6 months alone. And we're still seeing that 7 out of 10 restaurant operators, hospitality operators still report not having enough employees to meet that customer demand. What does that customer demand look like? It's a $60 billion opportunity, right? So not only is hospitality growing by roughly 33% through 2022, getting back to pre-pandemic levels, there's $60 billion on the line that was ultimately lost in sales because we couldn't meet the customer demand. And so much of that can be predicated on, again, our ability to effectively and efficiently staff our workforces. So what are some of these industry challenges? When you think about those 13 million job openings, again, 56% are for hourly and shift-based positions. And most of those hourly and shift-based positions are for leisure and hospitality. Again, it's why you're on this webinar today, and we're so happy to have you. 15% of HR expenses are allocated towards recruitment efforts. There's more money flowing into HR than we've seen in previous decades. So again, it speaks to massive, massive upside. But if you're not smart about where those resources are going, it can really exponentially create a very, very scary downside. Again, we're looking at $60 billion lost in consumer sales. If we're dumping money now into our recruiting efforts and they aren't paying off, that chasm is only going to grow wider. So sourcing talent is the most competitive it has ever been. So that's how we got here, right? Now we understand what's going on with our labor supply. Now we understand what's going on with the demand for labor. The cards are stacked, the deck is stacked, but what do? What are some easy ways that we can overcome this labor shortage? One, we got to automate low value tasks. HR professionals, HR leaders, people operations leaders are the best at hiring folks, onboarding folks, training them and retaining them, keeping them happy, making sure they're motivated and incentivized. When you think about low value tasks, these are the things that are at the tip top of that recruiting funnel, determining what to pay. And when you think about national brands or businesses that are in multiple markets across the country, obviously a market locale, a talent density, these are all things that impact what should I be paying this person. And if you're trying to manage hundreds or if not thousands of locations, that's a really arduous task for a team of 1 or a team of 10 even to determine, right? It's better to deploy in situations like this automation, right? Automate these low-level tasks. Here you can see we have an example of 3 different McDonald's jobs. And these are ranging from Winsboro, South Carolina, to New York, to Des Moines, Iowa. And you can see we're from $10 an hour to $15 an hour to $13 an hour. That's a nightmare, right? And that's a headache. We can help you automate a task like predicting pay, salary recommendations. You may be paying too much. You may be paying too low. We can help automate determining what to pay dynamically based on all of these factors. Another low value task that you should really look to automate to circumvent these HR and these talent acquisition challenges. Who and where to target. Hyperlocality is super important. Again, here we have an example of New York City. If you're hiring in New York City, you know that if someone's a mile and a half or 2 miles away, they're like galaxies away. So, knowing who to target, knowing where to target, where to post your ads, where to market for talent acquisition. These are also things that can be automated. Last but not least, automate how to engage with potential candidates. Once you've figured out what to pay them, Once you've figured out who they are and where you're going to be targeting for your talent acquisition efforts, automate the engagement tactics. You don't need someone that's going to sit there and author text messages and email campaigns. Again, this is a situation where AI can pretty much do everything, right? AI can determine, based on analyzing billions of data points, what to pay. AI can determine, hey, who's the candidate pool? Where are they? How should I reach out? And then AI can really put these engagement pieces together. AI can put together custom text messages. AI can put together email campaigns. AI is the author, and AI is choosing words and sentence structure that leads to and drives conversion. If you're, again, authoring every single text message, every single email individually, again, is the juice really worth the squeeze? Tip number 2, shorten time to hire and time to work. When you think about the demographic of folks that typically take hourly or shift-based positions, they've got bills to pay now. They've got bills to pay yesterday. They've got family and mouths to feed now. And so when you look at the average time to onboard a worker today relative to how long that worker is typically engaged and working at an hourly or shift-based position, look no further for a broken process, right? On average, it's taking us 25 days to onboard an hourly worker that typically is working less than a month up to 3 to 6 months. Again, retention can really depend on the industry and specific incentives. But fact of the matter is that for hourly and shift-based positions, there is a degree of churn. There's a degree of turnover that isn't seen in the full-time or the W-2 kind of front office ecosystem. So again, when you think about how long it's taking us to fill a role, the reason it's taking so long is because you, in some cases, may be leveraging 10 to 20 different vendors. So if you think about this pathway from need to onboard, you may source applicants from 10 different job sites. That's a lot of vendors to manage. That's a lot of contracts to manage. That's a lot of salespeople to deal with. You may leverage an applicant tracking system or some other HRIS platform. That's another vendor. That's another contract that you have to manage. You may have a team of folks that manually looks through and qualifies your applicants. No, this person lives too far away. No, this person doesn't have the right skills. Again, each one of these steps has inherent cost. And of course, we have the background check. And the background check is traditionally one of the more expensive pieces, and traditionally one of the pieces that can take a little bit of time because we depend on third parties, right? We depend on county courthouses. We depend on drug testing facilities. So when you think about this and you take a step back and you think, wait a second, it takes me almost 2.5 weeks before I'm even ready to run a background check. The background check itself could take 3 to 5 days. These individuals do not have 25 to 30 days to wait until they get their first shift. So we need to shorten the time to hire and shorten the time to get them that first shift. They got to start making money realistically in less than 5 days. So how can we source, apply, qualify, screen, and hire in under 5 days? Well, the solution isn't that far away, so stick with me. Third tip is leverage a background check provider that's fast and efficient and affordable, right? There's a lot of legacy background check providers that have been around for 40 years, and they're charging way too much for a background check. We have background checks that start as low as $7. We're about 40 to 60% more affordable than the industry incumbents. We also have industry-leading turnaround times. So again, we're helping you onboard your applicants and screen your applicants faster. And make sure that you're working with a vendor that allows for mobile-friendly consumption. So allow for your applicants to go through their background check, manage their consumer report from a mobile device. And last but certainly not least, make sure that you're working with a background check provider that has in-house applicant support. Public records aren't always perfect. In fact, that's why we have the Fair Credit Reporting Act, because sometimes the data isn't quite right. That doesn't mean it's totally wrong. Sometimes it's just slightly out of date or slightly misrepresentative, in which case your applicant needs to have the ability to pick up the phone, talk to somebody and say, hey, that felony should have been dropped to a non-moving violation. Or, hey, that DUI should have been expunged and should not be showing up on my consumer report. There can be a variety of situations where in-house applicant support is really, really critical in order to take care of your applicants, get their disputes resolved. And if they're qualified, give them a fair shake, because you want to hire them just as much as they want to get the job. The fourth tip, provide flexible shifts. The number one reason for turnover in the hourly and shift-based ecosystem is I'm not making enough money. So really the stat I like to call out here is at the bottom of this slide on the bottom right-hand corner. We did a survey, thousands of workers survey. Again, all workers that are in shift-based and hourly job roles, all part of elastic or contingent workforces. And we said, will your current job cover your monthly expenses? 70% of them said no. 70% of these workers said that what I am currently making cannot cover my monthly expenses. So they're left with nothing else but to get another job. And in many cases, they don't have the tools or resources to work multiple jobs. That is something the employer can assist with, right? If you're able to provide your workforce with flexible shifts, that allows them to work in multiple job positions and ultimately get themselves to 40 hours a week. That's the goal. They want to get to 40 hours a week. And if it means they have to do that through 2 or 3 employers, that's what they're going to have to piece together. It's in your best interest to provide those flexible shifts in a way that helps them fill in those gaps with other earning opportunities. Another stat I like to pull out that isn't quite as doesn't quite jump off the page as much, but down here in this little copy, additionally, 79% of hourly workers stated that their next job would cover their monthly expenses. So it's all about finding that next right opportunity. And I think, again, there's a great opportunity to leverage these insights and overcome these challenges. Last step, avoid cost centers like staffing agencies and outside recruiting firms. These things are incredibly expensive, and at the end of the day, they are eroding your profit margin. They are just drawing in more and more and more and more operating expense and eroding your profitability. Not only that, it erodes your workers' profitability. If you're using a staffing firm, you end up on average paying your workers $1.50 to $2 less. And that's why they're turning over. That's what drives the turnover. So really, when you look at this, it's a vicious cycle that we must break. So again, right here, you can see staffing firms, gig job sites, recruiting solutions. These things are super, super expensive. They don't necessarily solve the problem. You're still dealing with a lot of unqualified applicants, spending too much time and money manually going through those applicants. And at the end of the day, you're spending thousands of dollars to acquire a worker that might only work for your business for less than a month. So step 5, avoid these cost centers as much as you can. So what's the solution, right? We have some tips, we have some tricks, automate the low-level tasks, decrease your time to hire and time to activate or the first opportunity for your worker to work. Use a background check provider that's fast and efficient. Avoid those cost centers. I'm missing one, and provide those flexible shifts. Those are 5 tips that you can all implement today. And the beauty of it is that you can have Turn help you implement these things, or you can do them on your own. So let's talk about how Turn can actually help you implement a lot of the tips and tricks that we just talked about. So we have built a labor acquisition platform with a unique combination of data and technology, right? We have a robust pre-employment screening solution. So we can help you solve that need for a better, faster, more affordable background check provider, background check partner. We have an advised solution, right? We can help you automate those tasks like what to pay, where these workers are, how to find them, where to market. And with the Ready solution, we can do it all for you. The Ready solution brings it all under one roof, and we can essentially hire autonomously for you. Ultimately, and I'm going to show you in a second, all you need to do is create the job, post the job, and then our AI, our autonomous technology, can determine what to pay, can determine where to market, who to reach out to. Our AI can put together the engagement tactics, the text messages, the email campaigns. Our AI can even make recommendations like deploying a very targeted Google AdWord. Automate all of those tasks that you are either leveraging 30 different vendors to do for you, or you're either outsourcing. All of that can be brought in-house, and all of that can be automated. So at the end of the day, what does this look like? We process a background check in 0.9 days. And with the full platform, the Ready solution, we're decreasing time to fill roles by about 73%, and we're decreasing cost to hire by about 81%, down from $2,500 cost of worker acquisition to about $200 cost of worker acquisition. And that's all in. That includes your targeting, your marketing, your insights, your engagement. It includes the background check. It includes the onboarding. So that's your all-in cost. So significant value that we can introduce here. Again, how are we doing it? We're doing it through AI. Earlier in this presentation, we talked about how we're tracking 13 million job openings. We're tracking 148 million working individuals in the US. This is how we're able to determine the right market, the right candidate pool, the right message to the right worker at the right time with the right job opportunity. And that's what leads to massive efficiency, right? That's what leads to consistency, quality, and velocity. Here's just another slide that shows the types of things that we're looking at day to day. We're evaluating billions of daily data points. We're collecting the industry data points. We're analyzing those industry trends, and we're making those predictions. We're looking at folks' salary, ideal hours, where they are, their level of intention, right? That's a big problem right now in hiring for hourly and shift-based workers. The ghosting, the no-show. Is this person even serious? I got them all the way through to orientation, and all they had to do was show up, and then they disappeared. Why is that happening, right? Our AI can predict intention. We can look at things like transportation, means of transportation, and we can look at experience, job simulations, behavioral tendencies, etc. We know your industry really well. We have lots of partners in hospitality, both in restaurant and in hotel. Here you can see just a handful. We have some restaurant groups here. We have some ghost kitchens here as well. If you're using any HRIS solutions, we can also plug into what you're doing today. So by no means does this entail, having to uproot everything that your HR team has built thus far. We can also complement a lot of what you're doing today. So we can plug in to a handful of HR solutions. The platform as a standalone is also quite robust and can operate as that full verticalized platform. We also have an open API, so you could build a custom integration into any of our products. So with no further ado, I am so excited to show you what this looks like. And we'll wrap up here in the next, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes. But before we get to the product demo, if you already think that we're speaking your language and we're singing your tune, I'm just going to put this up here for a second. Feel free to go ahead and schedule that follow-up call. We'd love to talk to you specifically about your open jobs, about the channels that you're acquiring talent from, about your apply pathways, about your onboarding processes. We want to talk about all of it, and we want to figure out where is there friction and where can we help. So feel free to scan this and schedule that follow-up call. And I'm going to go ahead and now share my screen. And I believe this will do it right here. Great. So I'm first going to go to Turn's website. So here's Turn's website, and you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, we have a chat function. As I mentioned, this is where we house in-house applicant support. You can also see we offer support in Spanish. We understand that the demographic of individuals that take hourly and shift-based jobs don't always speak English as their primary language. And if something about your background check or your application is wrong, that's not a super easy situation to discuss in a second language. Here, clearly, we understand that a large contingency of caregivers and food workers in the U.S. Speak Spanish. So we offer Spanish for applicants to come and get help. You can see here when I go to our product tab and I click advise, we're going to look at some of those scouting reports. So as I said, we're tracking 13 million job openings. We're tracking 148 million working individuals across the U.S. So let's take a look at our friends at Texas Roadhouse. Let's go ahead and look at a few of their jobs. Let's go ahead and look at this one in Worcester, Massachusetts. So you can see here that our friends at Texas Roadhouse are looking to hire a line cook. And you can see that Turn believes that we can fill this role in 4 days. Pretty spectacular when you think about that average 25-day turnaround time. We think we can fill the role at a cost of $293. This is dynamic pricing as it varies by market density, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Again, this is about 80% more cost effective than that $2,500 to acquire an hourly or shift-based worker. As you scroll down, you can see the improvement in the funnel. Again, we believe we bring you higher quality of candidate due to our AI and autonomous sourcing. Our candidates have longer retention. And you can see here, we provide hyper locality. So if I'm looking for work for this specific job, I can click around and I can see in Worcester County, in this little neighborhood on this zip code, we have 994 candidates with a probability of 82% to hiring. We understand the competition. There are roughly 29 advertisers in this market, in the zip code, and roughly 127 talent competitors. Average commute time, 37 minutes, predicted hourly wage, just under $30. So these are the types of insights that we can spit out in real time because we're tracking all of these data points. And our advised solution is saying, essentially, hey, look how smart we are. As I scroll a little bit further down, we can see that this role that's posted for $37, we actually think we can find it for $30. We believe that we can drive conversion at a lesser posted salary with better targeting. Scrolling even further down, we can see how the job boards are performing. Again, we're tracking every single job opening in the U.S. when they go up and when they go down. These jobs for Texas Roadhouse line cook, my goodness, Indeed has been open for 39 days. If it's taking you 39 days to close a job, it's taking you too long. And an applicant isn't going to wait 39 days to get that first shift. The best performing advertiser is Google Jobs, but still we're looking at 12 days. 12 days to close a job, 12 days to then run the background check. You're still at 20 to 25 days to onboard a worker. That's too long. That's not going to help you overcome the labor shortage. And then we're looking at the AdWords, right? So as I mentioned, our AI can author text messages, can author emails, can author Google AdWords and ad campaigns. So we're analyzing what are the words that are driving conversion? What are the words, the specific words in these job posts, in these advertisements that are leading to conversion? And that's ultimately how our AI gets the inspiration to create engagement that is not only real, appears real in nature, but is very, very smart and iterative. Here you can see what the funnel, the recruiting funnel can look like. And so again, these are all the advised scouting reports and insights that we can tee up in real time because we're already tracking this data. Now, the fun stuff is let us do it all for you. So I'm in our turn dashboard right now, and you can see a handful of colorful tiles beneath me. These all represent consumer reports. These all represent folks that we've run a background check on. Very straightforward. The background check isn't the most exciting aspect of our business, but where it really gets exciting is when you just set it and let Turn do everything for you. That's our ready solution. You can click the ready tab, and we're going to bring you to your talent acquisition dashboard. You can see here that we have a job posted for a delivery driver in Chicago. You can see how many applications we've got, and you can see closed jobs as well, and jobs that have been put on hold, and jobs that are still open. To post a job, it's as easy as clicking post a job. And at this point, you're going to tell Turn's AI everything we need to go out and do and automate all of those low value tasks, right? So we're going to help you with salary recommendations, but ultimately you tell us where you need workers. So perhaps we'll do a new location here. Let's do my hometown, Kansas City. It's been a while since I've been home. What is my zip code? I don't even know. It's been too long. We'll just type it out, Kansas City. Click save. We do the job description, the title. And as we continue through this UX, there'll be salary recommendations, what you should be paying. You can also establish your own salary. We'll provide you a confidence level for our ability to hire at that salary. You can select how many folks that you want to hire, your hiring need. You'll associate the background check package that ultimately will need to be run on this applicant for your insurance providers or for your customers or for whatever reason that you need to administer the background check. And as I click the next step, we're going to look at simulations, screeners, and tendencies. So you can create questions that require an image upload. You can create questions that are multiple choice. For example, select your days of availability. You can create questions that are image upload. Additionally, in the settings tab, you can configure your apply path flow. So you can see here, you can configure the steps that you want. Several of our partners may want an interview step before we programmatically run the background check. So if you wanted to implement an interview step, you could do so here and click save. Ultimately, once your job is posted and published, that's what starts the chain of events. So really quickly, I'm going to jump back to Turn's website. You can see we have a job board for workers. And once a job is posted, for example, here is a trash pickup concierge service. Once a job is posted, that's what starts the chain of events. That's what starts the activations, determining who to reach out to, where to reach out, how to reach out. So essentially for our partners, again, it's as easy as posting a job, publishing the job. And once the job is live, as I'll show you here, we start to fill up your hiring funnel with all of the applicants that are making their way through the process. And here you can see we have 19 that have been hired. This job, as you can see, was posted less than a week ago, about 10 days ago. And we've already been able to deliver 19 hires. The amount of time it took us to find 19 hires, other platforms like Indeed or Jazz HR, we're only able to find one hire. And again, we're able to do this at a fraction of the cost. So when you look at some of our candidates, that are potentially in this hired status. You can, of course, see their profile. You can see the screener questions that they've answered. Are you 18? Yes. Do you have driver's license? Yes. Do you have access to a mobile device? Yes. Are you available 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.? Yes. Do you have at least 1 year of experience? Yes. Here we can see the approved background check. So once this loads up, you'll have a vantage point into not only the approved screener questions and job tendencies, but you're also going to see the traditional background check that is not only fast and affordable and efficient, but also very, very thorough. And this is, of course, taking too long to load on our webinar today, but this will load up in here in a second. And here you can see all of the checks that were facilitated: motor vehicle record, criminal records, and you can see everything came back clear, and this person has now been hired. So I know that was a really quick demonstration. I hope that you're interested and encouraged enough to take that next step and schedule a follow-up with us. Ultimately, as I come back in here and as I look at this presentation, here are the immediate benefits that we can help you unlock. Faster time to hire, faster time to fill, more efficient, more affordable cost to fill, cost to hire as well. And essentially, again, we can automate all of those low-level tasks, those low-value tasks for you. We can determine who to reach out to, how to engage, and ultimately deliver you a worker that is fully ready to go, fully vetted, fully qualified, fully screened, and ready to deploy in under 5 days at a fraction of the cost. So again, here is our QR code. Please feel free to schedule a follow-up call. I'll leave this up here. And again, we'll send this recording out so that you may socialize today's discussion with your teams. And we really look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to chatting with you, and we look forward to helping you out. Thank you again so much for your time today. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And we will talk to you very soon. Thanks so much for your attendance, and we really appreciate your time. Thanks.